we've all been made aware of bioweapons caused through gain-of-function research, COVID being an arguable perfect example. That said, China has been buying up, follow me here, we're going to connect the dots. China has been buying up U.S. farmland at an accelerating pace. As of 2021, Chinese entities owned over 384,000 acres of American agricultural land, a number that's only growing. Now, some of these purchases have occurred alarmingly close to U.S. military bases, which raises bipartisan concern in Congress and triggers multiple state-level bans, but not in California. Sorry, sidebar. Now, add this. In 2024, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, along with the FBI and the CDC, intercepted a shipment from China at Detroit Metro Airport containing a genetically engineered fungal bioweapon. I can't even pronounce it. Bavaria bassiana. That was concealed inside mislabeled containers. Now, this fungus, while naturally occurring,
how did they get on this? How did they find it?
Had been modified in a Chinese lab to evade detection and survive extreme conditions. According to federal sources, it posed a significant threat to U.S. crops, food security.
Terrible.
Speaking of, potentially functioning as a covert agro-terrorism weapon. When you pair these two developments, control of American farmland and attempted smuggling of bioengineered agricultural pathogens, the implications are simply chilling. And Amy brought this to the table today.
Yeah.
Take it away.
I mean, we can play this video in a sec, but I'll start. There have been more recent incidences than the one that Gillian just mentioned, and that's what really brought it to my attention. So it was a couple who, the woman, she is at the University of Michigan, and they were caught trying to smuggle in Fusarium graminearum. It's obviously very difficult to pronounce, but similarly, this poses a massive threat to crops, to agriculture. It can even cause fatality in infants and children. Causes, I believe it's liver damages to human beings as well. Just a couple of days later, it actually happened again.
Oh my
Same
God.
university.
I didn't even realize it was a separate couple. I thought it was the same one until you told me.
No, there was a second incident that took place just a couple of days later. This is a Chinese national fresh from Wuhan who was arrested at the same airport. He was shipping parasitic roundworms to the same lab in...
Did you say Wuhan?
Let's remind people
Yeah,
what
this person
Wuhan
is from Wuhan. Yes, exactly. I mean, that's where the COVID virus came from, people. Listen, you do not need to set bombs off to start a war, okay? Yeah. One thing that I think the Chinese are excellent at is warfare without ever firing a single weapon. And they do it through medicine, they do it through agriculture, and they do it through psychological warfare. You pair that, cyber attacks too, you pair that with the fact that they're buying up all of this farmland. There's a video, I believe, that you should be able to pull up, Nat, but it's currently less than 1%. But again, the main concern is how disproportionately close all of these are to very important bases around these United States. This is a theory.
Mossad was just able to activate itself from within Iran, practicing the same principles.
There you go.
That's how they did it.
Can I just say absolutely how shameful this is? The Chinese Communist Party, they're pieces of shit. Let me just be very clear. They killed my great-grandfather. I hate them with a vengeance that I cannot even describe.
You're not going to get a debate on this one.
I'm getting heated right now. My body is emanating heat. I want to say also, like, these Chinese spies, please just chill. Like, just stop. This is so bad for the entire Chinese American community. It's so bad. It's escalating hysteria and racism against all of us when we have these random shitbags doing this to our country. You need to stop, like, please.
Well, I don't think it was benign. Do you think it was benign of them? Like, surely, if this was something that was a controlled research project, they would have been able to submit those.
I think they should be, like, deported is a nice word to use.
Right.
But this is what I'm trying to say is this gives people ammunition and reason to clamp down on immigration from China. And I'm just saying that these people, it redounds back to the entire community here, the vast majority of whom are law-abiding and America-loving. But these people, they are the enemy of the American people. We should do everything we can to stamp them out and to ensure that everyone who comes into our universities, who take advantage of elite institutions like Harvard and Princeton and Yale, that they're actually coming here to stay and to invest their knowledge base into our country rather than bringing it back to China and growing their economy. Why should we waste Harvard's very precious resources on people who are just going to leave a few years from now and then help the Chinese regime.
And what is the vetting process? Because not even were they just random Chinese people.
I'm so sorry. No, finish your thought.
They found CCP propaganda on her laptop. So these weren't just benign Chinese people. They found the Chinese Communist Party propaganda on her laptop. They are active members of the CCP. How do we allow this to take place?
Well, let me broaden the discussion just past this, bioweapons thing, because in regard to foreign entities buying up farmland in the United States, residential real estate to basically park their money or launder their money in the United States, which, by the way, in the middle of a housing crisis, it should be banned. It should.
Right.
My point is, both political parties are 100% full of shit when it comes to this issue, because none of them have called for banning foreign entities. Well, that's on a state level. So DeSantis and Greg Abbott. I'm talking about a federal level.
I was thinking on a state level. I'm with you.
And by the way, I give Abbott and DeSantis a lot of credit, but they only seem to focus on China. I think there needs to be a broader ban on foreign entities or foreign business interests buying up properties here. The other thing I'll say is, I was really disturbed to find, because in his first term, he was pushing back against this, that Donald Trump approved the merger between Nippon Steel, which is a Japanese company. That Japanese company bought U.S. steel.
But it's an ally, so that's the way.
I don't care. I don't care if it's an ally.
I'm just saying that's how he's justifying
I don't care. I don't care. We need to protect property and businesses in the United States. Full stop.
I actually agree with that 100%. It's just not just property, though. Natural resources and rare earth minerals. You know what China did when we embarked on the trade war? They clamped down on exports to the United States on raw earth minerals. We cannot be at the whim of the Chinese when it comes to these vital, but especially these vital resources. And it's not just property, though. It's the water we drink.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Well, wait, really quickly, Lindy, you are
before.
echoing my sentiments, though, because that's something I wanted to say. This is speculation, but what if this is retaliatory from the CCP against Trump's tariffs? You don't know. And even if that is a jump, we should still treat it as such. This should be treated as such an extreme matter of national security that they look into this to the highest degree, because even if it's the worst case scenario, and that's unlikely, they should still be preparing for that.
What did these individuals say, like when they got caught with these bioweapons?
So at first they denied it. At first they denied it and said, someone must have put that in my bag. They actually wrapped them up in tissues. And then later, after they were, thoroughly investigated, they later admit that they hid them in the tissues because they believed that would more likely ensure that they were concealed and they would not be caught. So
why would you bring this?
They admitted because they said it was to continue their scientific research experiments in the United States.
Wouldn't there be documentation of that?
Had that been sanctioned, then they should have been able to do that, no questions asked. If it was a program between China and America, for example.
Right.
Okay, so hold on. Doc, I want to go to you here because you and I have actually had conversations about bioweapons like COVID. We talked about bird flu. There was some talk about whether or not Lyme disease had been a creation of gain-of-function research.
Wow. And there's good evidence to that effect.
Yeah, this is sweeping in broad.
Wow.
And now you're seeing it with agro-terror, essentially. Where does this go? What are your top concerns? And what should we do about it from a personal perspective and a government perspective?
I mean, it's above my pay grade. But let me just say what concerns me. What concerns me is the interwoven quality of all this, where we're engaged with it, we're pulled into it, we're supporting it, we're allowing it, we're supporting it. And so I think we ought to take some very, very specific, and I heard Jay Bhattacharya talking about this. We're going to take some very firm positions on gain of function. No more dangerous
Trump
research.
signed that executive order, but then I ask you, what about we've all seen Tulsi Gabbard say, hey, there's a bunch of these labs in Ukraine, FYI.
But this at least gives a frame to go after this stuff and not be involved with it and be half measures. Let's stop it worldwide, and let's just start there. And then and in terms of preparedness, again, you'd have to be imaginative to understand what's out there waiting for us. But I certainly, back to hysteria, should something happen, be more like Winston Churchill than some of the people with the megaphones out on the streets this last week. Don't be hysterical.
And focus on the real enemy.
Right.
Be clear, be
Focus on the real
careful,
enemy,
be
not
systematic.
Chinese immigrants.
Watch the real enemy. Go after them
Vote out your
carefully.
governors who block
we
these
need
laws.
clarity about
But
all
the
these
problem
things.
is, again, I mean, we have this issue where this two-party system has politicians who don't want to do anything about this. They might rhetorically say they want to do something about it, but their actions don't prove it.
Could I please just say one thing really quick to Anna's point? There is something right now called the PASS Act. This is a bipartisan bill that would ban foreign adversaries, including Chinese, from buying U.S. farmland near military bases or critical infrastructure. It's simple, necessary, long overdue. Call your local representative and say that you want to see this done.
There's no reason
rarely
why.
get calls. If they get 10 calls from their constituents saying that this is important to them, that could be enough to strike fear that, hey, next time election comes around, maybe I won't get voted in. Vote for this.
The other thing, Chinese money is getting in all over the place.
This is what,
and you need to call that out wherever
That's
it is.
exactly what I was
Speaking
gonna
of
say.
Chinese money, by the way, there's no reason why this bill shouldn't pass. There's no reason why we shouldn't have
This
this.
is what Jillian,
just to what you both said.
So let me
That's why
let me give you a Newsom example, because of course, who's the biggest scumbag on the block? So we've talked about this a little bit before.
You guys don't mince your words.
Oh my God, I loathe him. I mean, if you could, I'm fine with you applying that label to him as well. So this guy started China SF when he was mayor of California. And he's like, oh, we're going to commingle the economy. It's going to be great. But all he ended up doing was facilitating their ability to buy real estate. And then when a bill landed on his desk to block their ability to buy farmland, he vetoed it. Period. And it is directly connected. All the players with China SF.
If he runs for government,
Vincent
bring
Lowe,
that out big time, everybody.
You mean run for president?
His ties to the CCP are highly questionable, and somebody should do a deep dive on this. So this guy, Vincent Lowe, was associated with China SF. Turns out this guy is directly connected to the CCP. A lot of things Newsom does, somehow, some way, connect back to the CCP, and this is a perfect example. And as Californians can't get a friggin' permit to build a shed on their house, he clears all the red tape for them to buy real estate, buy farmland, and build in California, and that's the calling out.
One word reason why: money.
Because
they funnel money into his campaign coffers.
We're running
and there's
out of time, and I want to hear about Gen Z and
Well,
sex.
okay, so
one quick thing, one final thing in this China stuff. It's not just bioweapons and cyber war, and it's also anchor babies.
Oh, they clamp down on that, though, at least in California.
But there's still people doing it around the country. They come to this country just to give birth and to ensure that their babies are Americans and thus, eligible to a U.S. passport, American benefits.
Believe it or not. Well, county by county.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Orange County was a big outlet of the
But this should not be happening. These moms, these families have no allegiance to the United States. We should not be allowing this practice. And it's not just China, by the way.
It's the Constitution. You're never getting through that whole birthright citizenship thing.
There are literal industries around this of women
They had to
who
clamp down on the birthing. They have a name for it, birthing something.
I did not know that.
anchor babies.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching Her Take. If you like the show, can you help us out by subscribing to the channel, clicking the notification button, sharing, commenting, joining the conversation? It helps us out a ton with the algorithm. We appreciate you.